Yeah, 145.
And there it is, championship weight.
If we look at Conor's physique development over the years, we can see that he has packed on a decent amount of size since the beginning, as well as moving forward to the more recent years where he's become such a mainstream entity and a household name. In the beginning of his career, he was only, about 145 pounds. We can see here at 23 years old, he's 5'9", 145.6 pounds, and visible abs. He's not overly muscular, but it gives us a good baseline reference point. And moving forward to his next fight, he was 144.7 pounds. Basically, looks the same. And as we get through his career, we can see that, his weight trends upwards, and it's largely because he's starting to compete against guys in higher weight classes and whatnot. But the fights he did at 145 pounds, the guy looks borderline emaciated for them, and I don't think a lot of people consider that. When you look at his physique, the guy's just shredded to the bone, but it's like the result of severe water depletion. So just because in more recent years he would show up and weigh in at 20 to 25 pounds heavier, when you actually look at his physique, there's a night and day difference between his, tone and muscle detail relative to the more recent weigh-ins at what I would consider more sustainable weights for him. So just because he weighs in 145 pounds, it doesn't mean that he took steroids to gain 20 pounds of muscle, because we can actually see when he weighs in the more recent fights, he has a parallel increase in essentially just fat and water that you can see. It's the less muscle detail, the less serratus separation you see, the less abdominal definition, the less separation in the biceps, the less emaciated the face looks, the less malnourished it looks. Like you can see, he basically looks like he needs a drink of water when he's weighing in, and he's 145 pounds. The guy just looks scary. But then moving forward to where he's weighing at 168 in 2016, just, not even a year later, he looks normal. And moving forward to his most recent fights, and he weighs in, and, he looks bigger, but that's mostly just water and fat weight, just because if you're completely diced and you add 10 pounds of intramuscular and intracellular water, even if it's sub-Q, it's still going to look more inflated than you were, at a more shredded body fat. Obviously, some people are going to argue, the more water, the less big you look. Objectively, yeah, that's true in some cases, but for Conor, he's just so depleted. It's not like this is a look that makes you look more jacked. He's at the point of malnourishment when he's weighing in 145 pounds, and yeah, he looks muscular, but it's like scary, just bad malnourished look that he obviously doesn't step in the cage fighting at this weight either. I don't think a lot of people take into consideration the amount water weight can fluctuate just in 24 hours. I could literally go, to pop a diuretic and go deprive myself of water for 24 hours and weigh in 10 pounds lighter the day after. And some of these guys do substantially more than that. They'll deplete themselves like 15, 20 pounds of water for a weigh-in and then show up and fight at, a completely different weight class than what they weighed in at the night before or whatever. So just because he's bigger on the scale, it doesn't mean that he used steroids, and I don't think his transformation from his baseline at 145 pounds is indicative of steroid use whatsoever. Like, he might have gained a bit of muscle over the years, but I think it's mostly just a result of hard diet and training and, natural progression over the years, rather than some sort of, some people are perpetuating some like 30-pound lean gain because he still has visible abs at almost 170 pounds. But if you really look at it closely, you can see that it's just a parallel increase in blurring of his definition, of his separation, of his just lines everywhere. It's just to the point where he looks a lot healthier. He's a lot less defined, obviously, but it's certainly not indicative of anabolic steroid use, in my opinion. And a lot of people think that it's impossible to use anabolic steroids in the UFC. I think that, the amount of people that pop for PCT drugs and other and AIs and things that are used as adjunct ancillaries to use on the only time you'd use them is during a steroid cycle or after a steroid cycle. I think it's pretty obvious there are people skirting the tests and finding ways to get around it, but I don't think Conor is one of them. That's just my personal thoughts, so let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think his body transformation over the years is natural? Do you think it's indicative of performance-enhancing drug use? What do you think he took, and where in particular? Like, what events do you think he sauced for or took drugs for in particular? I know some people have strong opinions on that, so all comments are welcome, and please like, subscribe, check out my blog, moreplates.com for more content related to bodybuilding pharmacology and whatnot. Follow me on Instagram at moreplates_more dates, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, BitChute, TikTok, Apple Podcasts, wherever I am. Talk to you guys soon.